Watch the camera.
That we wouldn't. I
I
thought.
have to look at yours.
So I
Did
thought.
you email
I
me?
thought no, I haven't emailed
Okay.
yet. But I thought the one that we did late last year.
I was counting.
Okay, good. So I don't think I have to do it until.
You might not.
But then I have to.
Because I know I had a couple of people emailing me and ask me about that.
Okay.
I did respond to them on that.
Okay.
So we're discussing my.
Definitely been on Monday. He was telling me about my car was on autopilot. I was heading home.
Oh,
And I was like, oh, snap.
Oh, wait, hold on. I have something else.
Got to do the drive by the house. And
Just joking.
Hello.
Oh, you might want to sit over there because it's picking you up really too long.
I know. I'm wondering what the deal is.
Yeah.
Put somebody else here. Maybe Diane.
Or just nobody.
What's that? It seems to be picking me up really strongly. Picking up me personally.
So
Oh, you forgot to.
it's even better. Don't put another. That's the whole room. Let me fix up.
So like picking up your
Motion.
is it the motion?
Sound. Yeah.
Will you want to sit over there? You're supposed to put all of you over there.
Yeah. It'll pick up her and it's going to pick up them once they start talking.
As long as it picks up other people eventually.
Because you're like usually like.
Yeah, 3 minutes.
It's Billy food.
So he just look at it.
yeah, I was just telling
It
Kevin.
was so good. That is so good.
1 minute.
1 minute, yeah. Is it Tom up there?
I'm sorry?
Anyone see Tom?
He's here. Someone. I saw him. Talking to Kevin.
I won't go live until I'll signal you because I'm gonna have to unmute that. I'm gonna have to unmute that and then I'll tell you to go.
Okay.
Just waiting on 6 o'clock.
Let's call this meeting of the planning commission to order. First item is the approval of the agenda. Any changes?
Make a motion to approve.
Second. All those in favor? All right. Moving on to adoption of the minutes. Anybody have any? I do have any adoption. Number 4. 4-31. Under the vote. I excuse myself. I could not vote in favor.
Yeah, that needs to change. Let's see. What's the next page? Is This is the vote for. The vote is for, yeah.
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 4-4.
Oh,
Right.
I recuse myself on 4.
Yes.
Anybody else have any?
We'll make that correction.
If nothing, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Oh, it's not showing it
Correction.
to you.
All those in favor? First item on the agenda is a public hearing. Boundary Commercial has filed for a waiver from the York County Code to allow a driveway separation to be less than the required 160 feet. The subject property is 32.02 acre parcel located in the light industrial district, Council District 7, East Number 24-03. Start.
As we mentioned, this is a waiver request, W2403, Boundary Commercial. They're looking for a waiver from the requirement for a 160-foot minimum separation owned by Speakview owner and represented by Boundary Commercial. Kind of a summary of what we have here. The applicant wishes to maintain an existing 110-foot driveway separation distance while extending the driveway in the opposite direction of the separation. I'll slide on that. The existing driveway access was non-conforming and supported access to the call center, which had a the driveway access is located on the dead end road. It provides access to 4 parcels, one being the project site, 2 industrial warehouses kind of before it, a little bit adjacent to it, and a vacant parcel. Traffic counts of the new uses would be much lower than that of the previous. The driveway expansion will not change the current separation distance. So this is kind of an aerial photo. I'll have some, you see the 2 at the bottom, you see the 2 distribution centers. And I'll get some other pictures here that show you the driveway access. You'll see what I'm talking about. This one here. When you see this one thing I noticed is you'll see this driveway access is plenty of stacking. Cars come through here, you go way up here for the trucks, and another picture will show you the proposed stacking of Boundary. That's here. So this one, goes way up here. The parking lot entrance is down. This one down will be the entrance for the cars. And you'll see what's happening here is they're just expanding along that line. This direction, the other the far direction is the other driveway. This shows the entirety of the road at the dead end. Stop right there. That was part of the mine land. They would have to rezone that to actually pick up activity for mining there. So We don't expect anything in the near future, for sure. So there's a couple of findings we need to make for this. The applicant needs to show provisions or regulations would be causing an unnecessary hardship. And we think shifting the driveway to the north would create, drainage issues between the existing driveway and the proposed building. Additionally, relocating it further north makes a conflict to the drive that's up north. We would find a waiver meets criteria. The second, planning commission would find a departure may be made without defeating the intent of the provisions of this chapter. And as we mentioned before about the traffic, we want to make sure it's safe. We talked to the transportation plan Stevens, determined there's no safety concerns, and if anything, it'll be better than it is now with less use, less intense traffic. It'll be reduced, and with the other things I mentioned as far as the stacking and so forth, you find that the proposed waiver meets the criteria. So we would recommend approval of the waiver to allow the existing driveway separation of 110 feet.
Anybody have any questions?
I know it said here on the first page that the deficiency in the driveway separation was created when neighboring property was developed in 2019. At that time, the project met all site design requirements, including the driveway separation.
Yeah.
When did it change to 160?
22?
22?
23. I just wanted to, because it didn't say it in here. I just wanted to make sure.
Quick question on,
No.
yeah, thank you. On one of the pictures here, let's go, all right, there. So that is the driveway that's that we're discussing.
Yeah, yeah. And existing, like I said, it exists on the far side of that dash line. They're just expanding the entrance a little bit.
Okay, so can you show us again where the existing is on the aerial? Because I missed that trying to see
So it's
Right there.
that right there. And they're going to be, I'm trying to get my bearings. So that's that. So the new buildings are going to be where the parking lot is now. Right? Okay. And so what is, as we come back out this way, the bottom of this picture, we're actually moving more north.
south.
We are moving south. Okay.
We can see it there. It's got- Those are the two. So
And that's the second.
the second one, first one. Goes up there. There's just access to their property.
So it's widening the dash line we had on. And that doesn't give it enough separation from after that.
Yeah, that's what the 110 feet measured.
So it wasn't, the existing driveway didn't meet it.
Not
It did
now.
in 2019.
It did.
Under the 2019 code it did, but now with the change, it.
Correct.
I understand that. Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else have questions? Is there somebody representing the applicant here today? No. Would you like this?
I guess, yeah, I mean, very well, engineering.
Please step up.
Yeah.
It's tricky. There's only one way in, one way out.
I don't need to come up
Go,
here.
go,
Go,
go.
go,
I just state your name and address for the record.
Sure, Greg Welch, Oak Engineering.
I'm sorry, your driveway was clearly marked.
Oh, yeah. Driveway separation, your main code. 49 29 Monroe Road, Charlotte, North Carolina. Yeah, I'm just here really just to answer questions. To the point that was made, this is an existing driveway. We did not intend to close it or move it, and we designed this entire site around keeping the driveway, and moving it now would be really detrimental to the project. So, yeah, appreciate it. If you got any questions, feel free to.
Do you have any questions? All right, I'll make a motion to open the public hearing. Second. All those in favor? Okay. Does anybody in the audience like to speak in favor or oppose the matter? If not, can we get a motion to close?
I'll make a motion to close.
Second. All those in favor of closing? Okay. Any last comments anybody would like to? No, not, is there a motion? Motion approved. Okay. Is there any discussion? Anybody else? All right, all those in favor? All right, next item is rezone 24-5. Chicken Shearer, applicant, owner requesting to rezone a 0.32 acre parcel from UD to RMX 10. The subject parcel is located at 1074 Archer Drive, Rock Hill. The property is referenced as tax map number 624-000086, Council District 4, Starati.
All right. Good evening, everybody, and thank you all for your cooperation and being able to move around to different places and everything. I appreciate that. Thank you. So this evening, the first rezoning here is a request to rezone a 0.32 acre parcel from UD to RMX 10. And the purpose here is to be able to allow the residential use in order to construct one single family home. As you all know, you cannot use dwelling units in the UD. Property is located in a little donut hole around Rock Hill. It's part of an older subdivision that was platted but never fully built out. It's just to the west of I-77. You can see here from the aerial, just to the left of that, at the east-west part of that, is actually a Blackjack's Preserve area. As you can see, these were parcels that were created in the 1950s or so. That only some here and there were kind of built out. Some are very, very small, and some are really, really small. This parcel was combined at some point to actually have the front and the back parcel. So it actually fronts an address on Archer, but it also has a frontage on Joe Louis. Zoning for the area here, most of it is still zoned UD. You can see those yellow parcels. That was part of the UD project we did a few years ago to rezone to allow for residential uses. There's a little bit of PE there as well. Comprehensive plan for the area here is municipal infill. And for that, those are intended to be seamless transitions between the county and the city. And so whenever we're doing any kind of rezonings, we want to look at the desired goals that municipality and see what they're looking for to the back during our request. The city of Rock Hill, they recommend for this area here, neighborhood residential. And for that, their plan is that to be able to protect residential field and property values while also working to better connect neighborhoods and commercial areas. So based upon that, we're recommending approval. This request does align with the future land use map and the comprehensive plan, and there's similar uses in the surrounding neighborhood. Any questions for staff?
What's the setback off the property line for the house? For a house.
I don't know setbacks. I think it's 25 feet, I want to think. Yeah.
Unless it's the really small.
And there is some provisions, and there are also different districts to have different setbacks. And so 25 feet might actually, Rick, you may know. I don't know what that is for. It's at 25, maybe less than that.
Yeah, because the aerial, you see this one house, and you look at the aerial,
RMX 10.
it looks like the house, at least the garage or whatever, that's not. No.
These were built at some point years and years ago. There's some lots here that are 2,600 square feet total lot size. So, people have been able to either combine properties to be able to make something fit, turn the house a certain direction to make it fit. It's upon them to make it work. If they can't make a house fit, then
Right, but that's what I wanted to know about, what that setback was.
yeah. I'd be more concerned with the side setbacks.
That's what I meant.
The front side.
No, no.
Okay. Yeah, I think they're 5, maybe 10. I think it's 5 and RMX 10.
This type of zone I'm seeing here is proposing to use private well and septic. Is there an existing house here?
No, it's always been vacant.
So for this different type of zoning, so is septic water?
They have to do an engineer system. It's doable. It'll be a challenge, but that's up to the applicant to figure out whether they can make that work as well. But I think you can do septic on properties where it used to always have to have an acre. You can do a lot more system. And that you might be able to address that as well.
RMX 20,
10.
5 foot side setback, 25 rear.
Yeah.
25 front, not rear.
Do we still have multiple owners of the vacant pieces of property throughout here?
In this area here, yes. Yes.
Is it a large variety or is it?
Yes.
most of those?
There is a larger variety of multiple than there are of their singles. So if people had bought some property in the area, maybe their goal is to be able to recombine. If you look on the area just south of that, there's a house under construction right now in that corner there. It's actually, I think, built at this point. And that was 2 lots that were combined to make it into 1 lot. So they have done that in some cases.
Is there any plan to do any kind of county proposed rezoning of that whole area to make it RMX something?
And that's the challenge because there are some properties that are 2,600 square feet. So they'd have to be recombined to do something. Because RMX 6 is the smallest that we have. So it's better just to go ahead and wait and do this as they combine lots. Because if you go to RMX 6, my concern would be there's no utilities there, open it up for townhomes and apartments. The whole different sort to make those lot size work. With RMX 6, you'll bring up a lot more. So I think it's better just to kind of wait and do them as they come to us.
Anybody else? If not, is there a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No. Next item on the agenda is rezoning 24-36. Charles Addison, the applicant, Charles and Barbara Addison owners, requesting to rezone 2 parcels totaling 24.48 acres from RMX 20 to RMD. Subject parcels are located at Walker Road, Rock Hill properties, are referenced as tax map number 752 0000016
This request is to rezone 2 parcels that total 24.48 acres from RMX 20 to RUD. And the purpose of this is to be able to allow agricultural and farming uses. Property is located on the eastern side of the county between Neely Store and Old Friendship Road. The area here to the north part of Walker Road, there's a lot of underdeveloped property. It's vacant and could be used for agricultural uses. And the south part of Walker Road, you'll see some more subdivisions, smaller lot subdivisions, some larger residential there as well. So it's kind of a mixture of some large vacant and then some smaller properties as well. Zooming into the property itself, this does involve 2 properties owned by the same person. The smaller one towards the front is their home. So you'll have the house with some utility buildings. And then the back property is just vacant. I believe he does do some tree farming, but he also wants to be able to have some chickens, maybe some goats, some ducks, that sort of thing. So he wants to go to RD to be able to do that use. The north part of Walker Road here is RMX 20 for the most part. There's some part to the east that's already been rezoned or zoned to RUD. The south part of Walker is RUD, so you do have RUD adjacent to it. comprehensive plan for the area here is the entire area here is full residential. And as we know, that's places where you have character, homes on 1 acre or more, typically separated by farm fields, pastures, and forests. There's typically no private well and septic, there's no utilities here, and it's a sparse road network. So we're recommending approval for this request, in line for the future comprehensive plan, future use map and comprehensive plan. There are parcels, like I mentioned, already zoned RUD for the area. Any questions for staff?
So
Sure.
Is this combining properties or that's going?
They may or may not. They haven't decided to do that. They may in the future combine and then maybe recombine some areas in there, but their intention was just to be able to do the farm uses. They really haven't said.
This is actually changing both pieces.
It is changing both properties, correct.
To rezone two different.
Tax map numbers, 2 parcels. And it was done just to be able to have flexibility for the future if they wanted to be able to do some recombination.
And I may have missed it in here, but how big is the piece of property, the house?
It's around 2 acres.
What I was wondering is if it's gonna be combined all into one and it's just gonna be, why not just make all that AGC, right? I sometimes get confused about
Right,
what
right.
you can do. I read about farming uses, right? And RUD, if I remember right, was like a somewhat restricted version of AGC.
The main difference between the 2 districts is the lot size. So it's the lot size for RUD and 5 for AGC. I think it's pretty much the same. I think they went with that given the fact that the comprehensive plan recommended full residential. So that aligns better with that. And also the fact there was RUD across. So I think introducing AGC, well, there is a parcel just to the west of that. I think it's better, it lines better to keep it at RUD.
And the whole thing could be combined.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why they did both of them, just in case they want to move a property line, and they're done.
I get confused looking at the usage charts sometimes and not being able to really say, well, why would you do this or that?
Sure.
And I know there are some restrictions that when you come away from AGC, you get some of the farmers, but it's hard to figure out. We had a question talk last time. I was
Right.
looking for horses and couldn't find horses because it's listed as
It's a question.
Okay. Thank you very much. So let's go ahead.
Any other questions? All right. If there's nothing else, is there a motion?
A motion to approve.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Next item on the agenda, rezoning 24-38. Jeremy Schultz, applicant owners, requesting to rezone 4 CKD. Subject parcel is located at 3625 Broadhurst Lane, Clover. The property is referenced as tax map number 19100000018. Council District Producer.
Yeah, this request is to rezone a 4.93 acre parcel from AGC to RUD. And the purpose here is to be able to subdivide the property and construct 1 new single family dwelling. Property is located on the west side of the county. It's just south of Highway 5, Black Highway. The area here is still relative, it's still mostly agricultural, rural, large lots. There are pockets of smaller lots in the area as well. Zooming into the property itself, there's an existing house on the west corner, and the intention is to be able to subdivide the property probably around here to create a lot over on this side, be able to construct a single family home. You can see there is a house tucked in here as well. Zoning map for the area here. The north side of Broadhurst is AGC. On the south side below that is actually RUD. So that we have RUD in the area. The comp plan though says agriculture for the area. And as we know, that's there are areas where you have farmlands and timberlands and low density residential development. We are recommending approval for this request. It does not align with the future land use map of the comprehensive plan. However, like I mentioned, the parcel is adjacent to parcels that are already zoned RUD. That's supportive of that. It's not currently used as farming. It's already less than 5 acres at 4.93 acres. And there are 6 other parcels in Broadhurst that are 2 or 3 acres. There's no other parcel that's 1 acre. But if I can come out to here, there's properties along single stuff. Over here, these are all 2 or 3 property here, I believe there. And so you already have introduced areas that are less than 5 acres. We're recommending approval. Any questions for staff?
Right now?
Yes,
It does.
doesn't have the 5 acres.
Right, how do they plan to do that with the 2 and 3 acre lots?
The 2 and 3 acre ones, the ones that are on the north part of Bromhurst, these ones here, this is all one parcel, and there was a will and capital living, and the decedents allowed them to be able to give the lots to their family members, and so that would override zoning if it's a will and they pass away. But you didn't know that.
Right, when they split it, was there, I didn't see a split on it. before the-
I believe for the rezoning here, I think there was something in the packet that did show there was a plat that had a split line on it. I think it's roughly around here. I believe it's on the plat. It should be like,
Oh, okay.
so they're just gonna cut it here and do the acre.
That's gonna be like a 1 acre.
About 1 acre-ish, yeah. And they'll go back in, before, it's all done for rezoning, if everything's approved, that's when we do the survey, for the final part of it.
As long as it's an acre.
Yes, outside of right of way.
Are there any other questions? If not, can we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion? Is opposed. Next item is rezoning 24-39. Casey Cato applicant, Casey and Nicole Cato owners requesting to rezone 0. Parcel from RSF 30 to OI. The subject parcel is located 6213 Oak Ridge Road, Clover. Property is referenced as tax map number 478000076, Council District 2, Slough.
This request is to rezone a 0.38 acre parcel from RSF 30 to OI. And the purpose here is to redevelop the existing residential home for an office use. The property is currently under violation for the use of land inconsistent with the Chapter 155. So they're using it as a business that's supposed to be a house, and also developing without a permit. They didn't get a permit, and then the proper permit wasn't obtained. Property is located south of Gaston County, just to the west of Highway 274 and north of 557. This area here is still predominantly rural in nature. There are large homes there. There are some single-family homes as Oak Ridge Road travels south. Zooming into the property here, as you can see, the existing house, as it is right now, it's operating as a business. Zoning for the area. The majority of this area here is either RSF 30, RUD, RUD1. There is a little bit of GC further south as you approach along Oak Ridge Road. The comprehensive plan for the area, for this area here, is rural residential. And as we know, that is places of rural character with homes on 1 acre or more, separated by farm fields, pastures, and forests, typically private well and septic service area. So we're recommending denial for this request. The request does not align with the future land use map in the comprehensive plan. And that plan works to protect that low density rural character of the area. The plan also directs any kind of non-residential uses to major roads or near other uses. And like I mentioned, there are 3 parcels that were zoned GC. They were rezoned in, I think it's in the packet here it was, within a half mile of the subject parcel. But that was against the comprehensive plan. This was the comprehensive plan. It really shouldn't be what you establish any kind of new non-residential uses. And this could also be considered split zoning. Any questions for staff?
Okay, yeah, so I just want to clarify, so during the inspection, it was discovered that the site was being used as a commercial business. The application says it's private office space, so what was the distinction that made it seem like it was a commercial business versus just a home office?
So when the inspector was looking inside the building, there were cubicles set up throughout the building. So there was no residential uses happening inside of there. It was all an office. So the entire structure is set up as being offices.
They don't even have OI at all, even in this area, right? Any existing OI?
No, I don't think there would be. I'd have to really have to find whether it's OI. You'll see it probably closer to 3 points, 74, 55 adjacent. I don't think any OI around here at all. And, you know, like I said, there's the GC other direction.
Yes.
It's there. But it's a grading company.
The neighbors, there was no complaints from surrounding neighbors. It was just from that inspector who was coming to look at, I'm assuming, a permit.
Right, yes. But it was nothing from the neighbors. So we were there, and if we're on site doing a part of our job and we notice something is not correct, then we have to go ahead and let code enforcement know and pursue that as a violation. And so, yeah, nobody complained about it in the neighborhood. It was just that it's an office. Of that building itself? I think there are some pictures in the packet.
All the cars there, that was from like a day of business.
That was a day of business. Yeah. So as you can see from this picture here, there is something going on behind the property. It's owned by the applicant. He owns both of those pieces of property. So I cannot say if all those cars were to go to work in the office building, or if there were some folks who were also part of his construction company, which is going on behind the building. Yes. But they're not rezoning that property. And because on 2 separate parcels, we can move forward with the rezoning request because the rezoning would cure the violation for the house. We're still working with the property owner to clean up the property in the back.
Is there a site plan or anything that's submitted other than?
I don't know if I included it in the package. Was there a site plan? If so, it was it wasn't a real site plan. It was just, here's the house and here's our access. So I probably didn't include it because it wasn't worth anything. It wasn't.
I have a couple.
Sure.
The city that's located further down, is there something there currently?
Yes.
What is there?
That is a grading company. Yeah.
Do we know what type of business is happening with the
Construction services. Yeah.
So what would that parcel where all that's happening need to be zoned?
Probably ID.
So does that mean the other one is GC? ID? How,
I'm
I
just guessing.
don't know.
do we have any kind of this has been?
I'd have to go back and check previous aerials and just see how long it's been going on. It's been for at least a year, if not longer. I've been there for a long time. I don't know if that would be the aerials to find out.
And so it's mainly that area in the back is equipped for activity.
No, they're just they're storing their stuff there. And it's large pieces of equipment. There are large, you can't see it on here, but there's large pipe and culverts and a variety of different large equipment. And then you see the edge of a barn there, right at the edge of the property. So that's actually a barn here.
Yep.
And then the property goes back even further where they have their cows. So they also have cows on the property. So it's a combination of, a variety of different not allowed uses.
But if the house was used as a house, they would still be in violation.
Correct. For the property behind.
Behind.
Absolutely. Yes. And I believe it is the intention of that property owner to be able to clean this up. So possibly they're waiting to see the result of this rezoning to figure out whether they need to have office space and construction space or just construction space. That's what I'm assuming. And they're going to relocate all the animals because I said, maybe you zone the property in the back to RUD to keep the animals back there. And they're choosing to relocate all the animals.
So all of that got combined into one. And that would need to be ID. Would the office be able to exist as ID?
So assuming the rezoning is successful and it gets rezoned to OI, then you would leave that district alone and you would have ID in the back and you could not be combined because they're two different districts. So they would keep two separate parcels. If they wanted to recombine, they would have to rezone the office part to ID, be the office part of the business of the construction company. And then you could do that and then make the entire thing.
I appreciate you bearing with me. I'm trying to, so the steps going forward, if we approve this tonight, then the next step would be some point we're going to see a rezone that to ID behind that. Clean
If they
that
choose
up.
to, if they, I don't know that he'll choose to
Assuming
do
they
that.
want to conduct the business that way,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
it would be in violation of the law.
Right.
Right.
I think it would be a difficult task to rezone that property to ID, the second property. There's no ID whatsoever out there. Comprehensive plan wouldn't support that. I don't think it'd be a challenge to get that back property.
This is the thing that we run up against from time to time. We're trying to follow a comprehensive plan, protect people who are making investments in property, but also not hinder people that are trying to run a business, make a living with property that they have and depending on what they're doing, right? If they were in the back and they had a chemical processing back there, right? I think a lot of us would have a lot more heartburn than somebody that's storing a bunch of heavy equipment because I've got property and I'm trying to just make it a little bit more professional by having the office. So these are always tough.
You also have to remember, it's still under violation for the fact that the permit that was obtained
Understood. Yeah.
as a residential use, even though they knew they were doing a commercial business there.
Okay. So wait, let me-
So they applied for a residential use building permit, not a commercial use building permit. Their permit was incorrect. They applied for the wrong permit.
This is after they started building without any.
Yeah, so they originally started the building without any permit. Then the code enforcement office said, you need to come in and get a permit. They came to the office and they got a permit for a residential structure, knowing they were operating a business.
I missed that part too. So you don't think that somebody misunderstood because they are zoned and oh, you're zoned this, you get this kind of permit?
They applied for residential permit. So that's what they came in and applied for. And that's what they got. And it wasn't until we do the inspections when we
Yeah.
go on site to say, oh, this is actually a business.
This was in addition, they were adding something on.
Yeah, I think the pictures in the packet show what the original house was like and then where they added the second addition to it. They did take out the chimney and that portion right there. That's correct.
Okay. Thank you very much.
So, this is a question for Laura, issue with the spot zoning. Is it still considered spot zoning if the zone designation a half an hour away?
That's something that I wouldn't come out on just.
And it wasn't until we did the inspection.
I wouldn't just come out and make a definitive statement on that one way or the other because spot zoning is so big specific. So would that be, if you had an issue where you were litigating about spot zoning, there's something a half mile down the road, like would be something that both sides could argue. It's too far away to matter. Or that when you go out and look at your area and you're looking at zoning designations, you know, of course you have to consider it because they are deeds. So that's certainly something that could be argued either way.
The GC was rezoned 25 years ago under a completely different code. And so I don't know. It's
And
Today,
I don't think it's comparing apples to apples.
Because we already heard that would be ID based on the use, if it was zoned correctly for the.
Yes.
Anybody else have any questions? If not, I'll make a motion to recommend denying this rezoning. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I think these are very difficult when these come up, and I'm not always clear. I have tried to watch our council members when they have meetings to discuss these kinds of things, and I'm not always sure when they all come out as a group. So I think this is one best to let them discuss further. So recommendation to staff.
Yeah, I think many things that hits on. It's, it's not consistent. Comprehensive plan, future land use plan. I feel that the application for the residential permit was, was not done correctly intentionally, and to circumvent the commercial building permit process, which also would have required a site plan. So I just think the best thing for the community at large is just recommend denial of this. You guys will discuss it from there. So, is there anything else anybody like to say? All right, if not, all those in favor of the motion to deny? All right.
Which is an agreement with the staff recommendation.
Which is in agreement with staff recommendation, correct. And the rezoning tracking sheet. Everybody has any questions? If not, we move forward with the motion to adjourn. A second. In favor?